heard it right. My man DC, the brain supreme Glenn of the world famous rap duo Tag Team. I had a chance a couple of days back to sit down with, well, he's in Atlanta and I'm here in my studio while it's under repair, still wanted to put out this podcast for you. You're listening to Let's Chew the Gum. Had a great conversation with him. I'm going to give it to you raw and unedited. This is an exclusive on Let's Chew the Gum. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Let's Chew the Gum. I'm your host, Protocol. We talk a lot about a lot of things in the show. While we chew the gum, just like every show, we always have
something for your mind. Something for your mind. Something for your mind.
정신을 집어넣으세요. 어떤 것 필요합니까?
Something for your
정신을 집어넣으세요.
mind.
정신을 집어넣으세요.
Something for your
this setup. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, I'm good, my brother.
That's good. You're looking good, man. Looking good.
Hey, I'm just hustling and creating, making moves, and doing all the things that a young fella do.
Hey, tell me about it. I'm doing the same, man. I'm
You
doing
know,
the same.
you know what I mean? Life is great, dude. I can't complain.
Yeah, amen to that. Yeah, man. So I don't know if you had a chance to check out any of my podcasts up to this point, but I have a variety. My podcast is a variety show, man, and so we talk about everything, as I say, from A to Z. It's called Let's Chew the Gum, the podcast where we talk about everything from A to Z while we chew the gum.
Oh, you, bro.
What'd you say?
It's never about me. It's all about you. Ask what you want, man.
So check it out. So I was listening to a couple of shows you were on. I did my research, of course. So I was checking out a podcast, and I've listened to a couple of podcasts you were on. This particular one you were on with St. John's. I think it was St. John's Radio, St. John's University Radio.
That's
right?
way back. That's back before. That's back before Scoop.
No. This is a recent one.
Really?
It was in I believe July of this month.
No, it probably the one
Maybe.
I did at St. John. It was for the students at St. John's, right? Like a little student radio. Yeah, that was like a year and a half ago.
Oh well, okay, all right, okay.
Yeah,
but anyway, on that radio show, man, a few things stuck out to me. I heard you say a couple of things that intrigued me. One, you were talking about improv. You were saying, man, I'm into this improv thing, and just not to have everything ready, but to always be prepared. So I thought that was one. Another thing you said was, you were doing things that were different, things that are different than other people, and like kind of finding a different lane. Everybody's doing this, that, or the other, but you find something different and you go for it, right?
Hey, man, that right there that's what I love more than anything.
Yeah,
I think different, right? I'm not trying to do what everybody else do, right? And it's excruciating, but it's so satisfying when you get into the other side. And then, my emotions is not into it. I do things differently because I know that nobody else is going to do it, so that's why I love it. And, if you know that there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, why is you going to try to go over the rainbow when you can just walk around it? You know what I mean? It's like, it's the same concept, man. And I just do things different. I've always been that way, and it's just served me well.
You know what, man? I'm about that same way. And so I asked you that question, not to set you up, but there was a point to it. So I was thinking, I said, I want to do something different. I've been doing this podcast for, 3.5 seasons. I've been a teacher, educator, professor for, 20 years or whatnot as an educator. I'm always interviewing folks, and I thought we could do something different, improv, and you interview me.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's different.
Oh yeah. But
'Cause I've heard the podcast. I've heard several podcasts and information's out there, and I thought, man, this, doing voiceovers, improv, musically, freestyle, all this stuff, and I'm with that too. So I thought maybe we could test out our improv skills, man.
oh yeah. All right. So, where did Let's Chew Gum come from?
So let's chew the gum, man. I'm glad you asked that. As I said, I'm a professor.
Mhm.
One day I'm driving down. I teach at a private university. One day I'm driving down the what we call down the hill. You got to go down the mountain, so to speak.
Mhm.
And that's usually my time when I'm processing thoughts, getting my lectures together, or
Mhm.
writing. I'm writing, for comedy shows and writing my sets and whatnot. And so I chew gum. I've always done that when I play sports. It gives me like a rhythm, gets me breathing, gets me focused. So I arrive at the university, and I'm going to my class, man, and I'm probably about 45 minutes into my lecture, and I realize I'm still chewing gum, and
You
but
mean
I'm going, but I get
at this point you smacking gum because the gum is old.
yeah, I'm smacking it now, man. And that's how I realized it. I did one of them.
Everybody else realized it way before you did.
Yeah. So they say you can't chew gum and talk. This is what they say. So I apologize, and I turned around. I'm taking out the gum, and I said, "Man, I apologize. I didn't realize I was still chewing gum." But they were like, "No, it's cool. The lecture is going. It's flowing. We're enjoying the lectures." They said, "No problem." I said, "Okay, well then let's chew the gum." And that was how the name of the podcast started.
That's how I go, man. You just never know where inspiration comes from, right? And that's beautiful. Let me ask you this: since you teach young people, what difference do you see from young people now what's the difference between young people now and when you were young and in school and college grinding through your education?
Sure, man. First of all, I don't see much difference, man. They're still kids, man, coming up and finding their way. Times have obviously changed, but I'm not that old fogey guy. When I was a kid, obviously, there's some stuff that's different. But basically, man, I see these kids are in a lot of ways a lot more advanced because of the access to information that they have, the access to resources. So I see them advanced in that way. Now, obviously, the further you get away from the root, there's going to be some changes, right? Just like with our parents, there were things that were different. But as times have changed, man, technology, access to information, they have so much more access. So they're a little bit impatient compared to maybe our generation in terms of they want things ready, like ready now. Everything should be right now. They're used to having, quick access. So I would say, if anything, man, maybe just the patience. But I never like to generalize about anything, right?
Yeah.
But maybe, you know what I mean? Because it's not all kids, It's like some kids are like, like your song. Some kids from the old school, they have old school parents that raised with old school values.
Yeah.
But if anything, man.
I think the thing I see, man, is they got all the tools, but they just lack the common sense, right? Because we used to go, well, at least for me, I'm not saying all, like you can't generalize it. But if there's one thing I see that they kind of, that kind of depends on the upbringing as well, too. But, the comments, certain things that were easier for us because we had to kind of survive because we didn't have all those tools, right? We had a phone where we pick up the phone, be like, "Hey, what's up, Roger? Can I come over?" Like that's what I had to do, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I love it because it's the best of both worlds. Right? Because I'm a technology cat. I do SEO and I'm masterful at it. Like just from the last 4 hours, I've been studying cryptocurrency. Right? I'm studying the various forms of investing that are hot now because I realized from a podcast that I did with a financial cat that he wanted me because of my story of the finance that I did because I'm a licensed commodities broker. Right. And I was like, I got to get back on my game because I've been so focused on acting and improv and all those things. Right. That I kind of neglected, the hustle, because the hustle is acquiring the wealth to keep it. Right. And there are tools that you need to do that. So that's, I love to learn, man. You know what I mean? It's like I learned everything that I can because I see it as preparation. You know what I mean? Is that kind of the same for you, or do you have a different approach?
No, man, I absolutely love learning. I tell you what, man, I love learning so much. I actually started school. I didn't start college until I was 30 years old. You know, I
Oh,
was
okay.
I was accepted to college out of high school. I was accepted to
Yeah.
my dream school, which was Tuskegee University,
Hey,
Alabama.
hey, let me stop you right there.
Uh-oh.
My mother, bless her heart, and all my cousins is from Tuskegee, Alabama.
Oh, how about that?
Like
How about that?
I'm rooted deep in Tuskegee, Alabama. I got land in Tuskegee, Alabama.
Wow.
So you
Wow.
know, I I'm from you know, good dirt. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
yeah. Throw anything in that dirty grove.
Yeah. I mean, and the lessons that were taught to me back in the day, because we used to have to go down there every summer, were invaluable,
Yeah.
right? I say this thing on my podcast. They be like, "Where'd the hustle come from, DC? Why are you? Why did what?" I'm like, I thank my parents because I've been stemming collard greens and shucking peas since I was 5 years old, due to us going down south.
Right.
And my great aunts and uncles and everybody like, get out there, boy, and do them peas. Get out there, boy,
Yeah.
and do this. Get out there, boy, and do
Yeah.
that. Like I've been working since I was 5 years old, and I'm so grateful because I do not fear work. And
Yeah.
if you don't fear work, learning is fun,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I wish I
Exactly.
was this way back in college, but back then I was getting my chops DJing and doing all these things, becoming who I am,
Right.
right? But learning came about later in life due to traumas that I had been through, that I made up my mind that if something happens to me or I see an opportunity or something didn't go the way I thought it should, I vow that it would never happen again.
Yeah.
And you do that through education, right? And that's all I'm trying to do is talk to people, old, young, whoever, willing to listen about the things that I wish someone had talked to me about when I was a young man.
Yeah.
And then I'll use another analogy. Well, all I'm trying to do is learn what they know, bring it back to the street game, make the street game better.
There
Right.
you go. There you go.
And, you know, everybody has their way. Everybody does their thing. I just try to do, I do it so different because I don't think about problems and excuses. I use problems and excuses to come up with so many solutions. So I love negative people being around me. I love people that drag me down. I love people that, you know, just I can take the worst part of society and use it as positive energy because I'm not in my emotions and I don't react to it. Of course, it kills me inside sometimes, but you just don't react to it, right?
Right.
So I'm like really enthralled by your whole approach. Like, what is the one thing that you want for your students, or you just want overall for the people, right?
You know, man, in my classes, my approach, first of all, is to make it a safe space for everyone. I want everyone to be able to exist in the way that they want to and need to exist, irrespective of how society wants to mold them, right? So my thing is I want them to be the best versions of themselves, right? So the first thing we do in my class is create the environment where that can happen, where they can flourish, you know what I mean? Socially, emotionally, academically, right? And then it's about bringing people together, man, because, you know, the classrooms are diverse and everybody has a different story, a different background, a different way of doing things. And I try to show them and help them to understand that, you know what, whatever it is you bring to the game, let's perfect that for you. Let's maximize your potential in this environment, right? I've had students in the past, man, that swore they couldn't do mathematics. They were terrible at school because that's what they were told. And some of these kids, I tell this story and people sometimes are in shock, but I happen to find out one of these kids was a drug dealer. This back in the day. And I don't know math, but he knew eighths and grams and quarters and, you know, all this type of stuff, right? And so I try to reach students where they are. I don't care where they are. When they come into the classroom, it's not my job to judge them and tell them how they ought to be. It's my job to reach them where they are and get them to their full potential. So once I kicked it to him about that, then it clicked. Now he was invested in math because he realized, oh, I can do this. Then that transferred to science and English. And then he ended up leaving that whole lifestyle, man, and really becoming invested in academics because somebody took the time to accept them where they were on the pathway as opposed to being judgy, you know?
And see, that's beautiful because he probably heard the same thing 10 to 15 times, but it took that one time to hear it differently.
Yep.
It changed his life, right? That's how I was with acting. I just couldn't get it. It was like real difficult for me. I used to get frustrated. You know what I mean? I was happy to be acting and everybody would tell me the same thing. Just be yourself. You got to do this. You got to do that. And it just didn't click. And one day, Natalia Livingston, one of my acting coaches, we was in this scene and I'm just doing my thing. And I'm doing my thing. And she's like, why are you talking loud? I was like, I'm talking loud. She's like, you don't have to talk loud because you're going to have a microphone on your chest.
Yeah.
When she told me that, and I could bring my voice down to this and just talk and then be intense, do all those things as I'm talking like this and fluctuate my voice, but still be low.
Yeah.
Changed everything, bro.
Wow.
Now, like I booked 2 TV shows this week, 2 in 1 week.
Nice.
Right. And to me, sky's the limit because I'm willing to put in the work. And that's why I try to tell young cats. Like I talk to a lot of young cats and I talk to a lot of cats that say, hey man, put me in the game, DC, put me in the game. And I'll be like, all right, read this book or look at this video and hit me back. And I can tell you 98% of the people don't hit me back. And the people who do, there's this cat named Cordell. He's a Army veteran and he raps war stories. And he reached out to me. He was like, man, I just want to rap, man. You know, I suffer from PS, post-traumatic stress disorder. And I just, I want to rap. And I was listening to some of his stories and I'm like, that's true gangster stuff, right? Like true gangster stuff, foxhole stuff. And I wasn't even about the music. I was like, read this book. He read it, came back, was like, I don't understand it, man. I was like, but I could tell you tried to read it. And I explained it to him. And then he still didn't get it. He's like, but I get it, but I don't get it. And I said, bruh, and then I was happy to explain it to him. I said, dude, I gave you everything in one shot. You just don't know it. I fully am confident that you'll never get taken advantage of in the music industry like I was, because I've given you the back end first, right? Yeah. And the back end is, what do you have when all the money, cars, girls, clothes, all that stuff is gone? Because that's the front end.
Yeah.
And the front end can drive you crazy and make you delusional and make you think you're not who you're not. And when you get to that back end, you realize that everybody done beat you out your money. When the money's gone, all your girls are gone, all your friends are gone, everybody's gone. And the people that you treated like crap revel in your demise. Now you don't even have your rights. But if you have your rights at the end, that's a pension plan.
Yeah.
And you can live your life just having a mediocre record, right? And I try to teach people the business side of it. I don't want people to go through what I went through.
Absolutely.
I don't want people to go through 20 years of legal battles like I went through. But those 20 years of legal battles made me the man who I am, because I don't look at the glass half empty. I look at the glass half full.
Yeah. And
it's just, do you see these kind of parallels in the kids that you teach?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And what's beautiful is when you see the kids, like you said, read this book, because I'll give kids some books or some lessons. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful when they embrace it. You know, the ones that really want it, you know what I mean? They embrace it, they come back. I ran into a guy the other day. I was at an event. I was filming something in a whole complete different neighborhood, but a kid who was my student years ago, he was a knucklehead. He was, you know, he'll tell you that. Every teacher he had ever been with, you know, would put him in discipline. He probably deserved it, but at the same time, he needed some restorative justice. And I, you know, I'm from Detroit, man, originally, and then South Central LA. So I wasn't too much intimidated by what he was bringing, but I understood that he needed direction and he wasn't getting it. I just sat down with him, man, and was talking to him on a level that he could understand, even though he didn't accept it at the time. Like you said, I gave you the book, You just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Fast forward a couple of years later, I saw him after he graduated. He's like, Dr. Kawanda, man, I'm glad, I saw you. I've done this change, blah, 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 blah. Saw him again a few weeks ago. Hadn't seen him in years. He came up to me and said, Dr. K, Dr. Kawanda? I said, yeah, man, I recognize him. Still ever so grateful, man. So the parallels definitely are there, man, in terms of education, talking with young people, seeing them that want to develop. And sometimes, man, some folks want to, but they don't have the capacity. Like the guy you said, he was, I see it, but I don't get it, but you see that they put forth the effort. So that
all I
encourages
ask, man. Just put forth the effort. You know what I mean?
that encourages me. That encourages me to go forward and say, okay, you're trying. That's all I ever ask. I just want do your best. If you're doing what more can I ask than that?
And people don't even understand that if you do your best, you're closer than you'll ever realize.
Oh, man.
But because you're in your emotions and because your ego is in play and your pride is in play, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And to me, the pride of a black man or a men, period, is their downfall. Because it's taken me years, but I have acquired the ability to sequester my ego and my pride, because until you do that, your mind is not truly open to all the possibilities of everything that the universe has to offer you, right?
Yeah.
Because you're stuck arguing, or you're stuck doing this, or you're stuck standing your ground, or you're stuck this way, or you're stuck doing this. And I find that most people are that way. So that's why I say I'm different, because I can take those emotions and use them later, right? Because they will come back and they're useful. Somebody tells me I can't do something. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Watch this.
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody, it's funny because people like people that, everybody says, this is one of the things that people say. I was just like, nah, that's not true. But people say, keep negative people away from you. Just keep positive people around you. And I'm like, keep every negative person close to you, because in reality, some of the people that criticize you and scrutinize you the most are the people you love the most. Yeah. Right. So you can't get rid of them. So you might as well use their energy against them. Really, which is really take what they give you and prove it. They're saying, I love you so much that I don't want to see you do this, but they only know what they know. So the only way that you're going to be able to reconcile any of this is to prove it. Yeah. See, I look at it that way. Oh, okay. You want me to prove what I'm saying to you, and that you're telling me I can't do something. Okay. It's not a problem. Give me a little bit of time and I'll be back. Right. Yeah. And I did that with my father. I've done that. But my father's an educator. My father has a doctorate degree. My father is Dr. Cecil Glenn, and he started the ethnic studies program in Denver, Colorado in the early 70s. There was no ethnic studies program in Colorado. And his curriculum filtered through the elementary schools all the way to high schools, to the junior colleges, to the college level. And he was the dean of ethnic studies for the University of Colorado for years. And I watched him go get his doctorate degree. Mm-hmm. And he taught me invaluable things, but I watched him hustle more than I seen, anything else. That's where that comes from. It's like, you got chores, you got to work, you got to do this, you got to do that. So I know that everybody is not as blessed as I have been to have had an upbringing like I've had. But I still, I understand who I am and where I am, but I just want to let everybody know that there is nothing on this earth you can't do. And there's nothing that you can't let people get to you. Like, I hate when people say, they don't teach us that. It's like, they ain't supposed to teach you that. Yeah. I said, where do you think they learned it from? They had to go out and get it from somewhere. That's right? Everything that you think that they know, you can know just like that, especially faster now. We had to go find books. We had to go to certain libraries. We had to go get it. Now, but you still got to go get it now, because what's true, what's false. Somebody tells me, I saw this thing on Facebook and they were saying this, and I was like, you just said the wrong thing to me, right? Like, okay, so you saw it on Facebook. Did you corroborate it with, did you vet that?
Yeah, cross-reference,
Did
research.
you cross-reference? Did you go get a book? Did you go get something that can, like, I'm big in data. I do Wikidata, I do Wikipedia. I am an archivist, right? Because I believe, this is something I just learned, that there's a reason that people revere Shakespeare and Van Gogh and Da Vinci and all those people throughout history. And the only reason they revere them is because somebody took it upon themselves back in the day to archive their stuff.
How about that?
Shakespeare's boy, Roger, he probably was colder than him, but his house burnt down, his scrolls got burnt. You see what I'm saying? Like, that is my whole goal now, is to make a tag team museum, but bringing it out of the physical world, because that's what's happening now. Everything is coming out of the physical world into the digital world, and it has to be cataloged, right? And that's why Google is so big, because Google is the only one that can do it. So that's why I learned, I've been grinding on SEO for 10 years, right? And now I'm masterful at it. But then there's always something new, and the ability to, all the things that you go through in your life, even if they don't work, they help in your mastery, because you don't know how that one thing you think you failed at is going to come back 10 years later to serve you.
That's right.
There are no mistakes. There are no missed opportunities. There are no, I didn't get it done. You just can never quit.
That's right. That's right.
And do how many, I guess I want to say, really, I want to ask you is about when you speak to people, like when you speak in person to people, because that's something I'm about to venture into. And I kind of stumbled into it, and somebody was like, dude, you could get that bread doing this. And I'm like, really? And I feel like my mission is to give it away, right? But part of giving it away, if I can go do a little 15-minute intro and then just do question and answers, I can get paid for that. You know what I'm saying? So
my conversation with Mr. DC Glenn will continue after a short commercial break. This is Let's Chew the Gum, the podcast where we talk about everything from A to Z while we chew the gum. We'll be right back.
Where do you watch TV?
On Watch TV.
Nowhere.
On Watch TV.
What's on Watch TV?
On Watch TV is one of the most exciting channels on Roku and Amazon Fire TV, with lots of categories to choose from movies to music, documentaries, and more. There's something for everyone.
What if people want to place their content on Watch TV?
You can visit the website onwatchtv.net to find out more, or email onwatchtv@gmail.com. Don't forget, check out On Watch TV. See you on Watch TV.
See you on Watch TV.
On Watch TV is available now on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Check it out. On Watch TV. We now continue my conversation with Mr. DC Glenn. Enjoy.
What has been your experience as somebody who has been on the speaking circuit, or how extensive has your speaking been throughout different colleges? Kind of school me on that, man.
You know what? For me, I made up my mind a long time ago, man. When I knew that I was, first got into college, the first class I took was a public speaking class. Right now, I'm very confident. I can speak to 50,000 people just as easy as I can speak to one, But I tell people it wasn't always like that. But that one class, it was one guy, I don't know his name, but I remember he said this. We had an assignment, and he said, people were trying to get over their fear of speaking. And he said, whenever you speak, you're either in a room of family, friends, or strangers. And who cares what any of them think, right? And I thought, who cares? And I thought, well, if it's your family, they know you, so you don't really care. A friend, they're your friend, you don't really care. Strangers, what the hell, right? So it struck me in a certain way to where, that kind of stuck with me. You hear the things, well, look at the back of the room and look at the clock and pretend everybody's naked. I don't know what that's about, man. But, I decided, man, that when I saw that I had a gift and a talent for speaking, And I saw that there are a lot of people who did not have that, but they needed a voice. I decided that, you know what, I'm going to be that voice. I will be a voice. I'll speak up for you. There's a problem, because I'm like you said, there's a problem. I'm not going to dwell too much on the problems. I'm moving on to solutions. How can we solve this and move on from this? I don't have, so that with that, man, it was just like, you can put your toe in a pool of water and it's cold and you kind of go in there hesitant, or you can just jump off the edge and you're in there. You know what I mean? And then you find out it wasn't that bad. So, speaking years ago, I also decided I wasn't writing speeches anymore. I used to write speeches. And then this one time, I don't know if I didn't have time to do it. I was so busy and I had to do this speech. And I just went up and said, man, you know what? God, give me the voice and the things to say, and just went out and said it. Not a single I didn't know this, but the critique was not a single or ah. And I said, you know what, from now on, man, I'm not writing speeches. And I've done lots of speeches, spoken in front of lots of people, man. Not saying I'm the greatest orator there was, but if there's a mission and it's something that I'm feeling inside and it needs to be said, there's only one way it's going to happen, is if I say it. And if it's for me to say, nobody else can say it or articulate it the way that I'm going to do it. So it's encouraging, man. And after a while, it's second nature. And the fact of being a teacher and a professor, so I'm always in front of crowd speaking. You know what I mean? I'm always having to deliver a message. So now it's not even something that I think about. It's second nature.
That's cool, man. And what I'm starting to realize about myself is that I see so much deeper into things, right?
Yeah.
Like I joined this organization called NACA, right? And it's a National Association of College Activities. Mm-hmm. And we've done about 4 or 5 homecomings this year, and they're lucrative. So whenever I always join organizations because they're filled with people who've been doing their thing 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
They got all the resources and they're ready to give you the game, right? Yeah. You can tell if it's for you or not instantly just by picking up the phone and calling people and asking them and making them pitch you.
Yep.
They teach you, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
And I was talking to the guy who onboarded me, and he was a buyer for certain universities, and he's the one that gave me the idea. He was like, you'll get tag team shows, but he said, man, your wheelhouse is when you speak to people. I'm like, really? It's like, dude. And he was just telling me, and he was like, especially now, and this is what I'm thinking because I'm seeing it because I'm all over the country, right?
Right.
One thing I see is there's a certain guilt about how people perceive we've been treated in the past, right, wrong, indifferent, whatever, that I have been privy to and have been a beneficiary of, right? And been asked, how can I ask? People have asking me, what can they do, right? And I don't have any words for them. I said, just be fair to people. If you see somebody that you think got there can do something, let at it, right? Don't be giving charity to nobody because you're gonna get disappointed. If you're gonna be disappointed by people, period, right? Because everybody, it ain't for what we trying to do ain't for everybody,
right?
But I realized that in this whole college curriculum, through all these universities, the people who want to help, what they're trying to do is find Black men to teach Black men how to be men in a certain extent, just to talk to youthful people about life and about the things that you can do to stay out of trouble or the things that you do every day in your class, right? You're not only teaching them what you teach them, but you're teaching them things, you're giving them the sauce a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know how certain things can affect certain people. And that's what I was blessed with. Mrs. Langley, Mrs. Perry, Mrs. Patton, all these Black women that were at my high school taught me so much, right, about me and who I am and what my identity is and what not to fall for and what not to do and all these things. Now, some of the stuff was, bitter old Black ladies, you know what I mean? It gets like that, you know what I mean? Because if you from that generation who was growing up and grew up down South, you got it in you, right? You're gonna
Absolutely.
have some animosity in you, right? But
It's trauma.
it's trauma. Yeah, you got some trauma that never leaves, right? And my father was like that, and my mother wasn't so much. My father was, and I just know that I know his story and how he came up out of it. And education is always the way.
Man,
it's always the way, man.
That's what did it for me.
I gotta learn everything I can learn. And you know, people always say, DC, you can't do everything. Can't do everything, man. The traditionalists, you can't do everything. You got one thing. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I can't do everything, but I sure enough can be prepared for everything.
That's right.
And they're like, man, that makes sense. And I'm like, I just shake my head because I'm like, you don't even realize that the thing you just disapproved of, you now approve of, said in a different way.
How about that?
Because preparation is doing everything. When you prepare yourself, you're not just wasting time.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's preparation. Exactly. I mean, improv was hard for me. And I go into these auditions for commercials and I just flail because when you get put on the spot, hey, you're up against 30, you're in a room with 30 people and you get put on the spot. That's difficult. I don't care who you are. I've been in front of millions of people, done tons of shows, but that don't got nothing to do with what we doing in this room, right?
Yeah.
So you want to lean on that crutch, but you can't because it has nothing to do with it. And if you do that, you're a fish out of water and you're not going to get the job. And I train hard and it takes time. But then I realized, read the script and make up things that you think that the casting director would ask you to do or what they want to see. What's the product? What's the brand? Do some research, right? Yep. Go really dig and do some research. And when I did that, the first time I did it was for a Pizza Hut, National Pizza Hut commercial in January of 2020. And it was me and this beautiful young lady, Akia Mott. And I had about 4 or 5 things and we did our little thing. It was a Pizza Hut crust commercial where you dunk it into the sauce for March Madness, right? So it's like after you dunk the sauce, we want you to just party and do your end zone dances and all that stuff. So I'm Billy White Shoes Johnson and all that other stuff. She did her thing. Yeah. But then when they said do your own thing, I whispered in her ear, I was like, you know how to do the bump? She was like, heck yeah. I said, all right, go do this and then we're gonna break it into the bump. And we broke it down into the bump. And I saw it in their eyes. I knew I had it. Yeah. And they called me 2 days later. It's like, you booked it. That was my first National Pizza Hut commercial. I've only been acting for 2 years then. And then COVID hit, right? But I didn't care because I got booked. The validation was there, right? A new tactic, a new hustle. I call them learn how to learn hustle tactics. It's not enough just to learn. You have to learn how to learn in different ways.
There you go.
Right? And I try to tell everybody, that's like, okay, that's cool, but what else could you do? What else can you do? How else could you do that? And people ask me questions, burning questions, and I just run on because I'm going to come with 14, 15 things because I think about the solution. You know what I mean? And I love telling young people that. So I really feel like I can't wait to talk to my first college crew because it's, it's going to be challenging, but not really, but it's always challenging because it's a different environment. But that's why I do 3-4 podcasts a day. First I did it because I was just doing interviews. So I would do interviews. That's how it came about with the one you heard, right? But then it was like, okay, this is cool. But then it serves as so many different things. It serves as, for my articulation and voiceover. It serves for diction. It serves for storytelling and acting. It serves for therapy. Yeah. Just when I have stuff on my mind, I had a hard day, I can come on here and run my mouth and I can be all right because I get to kind of realize that, dude, it's all right. Right. I get to talk to people. People lean on me. I get to lean on other people. Like this, what you just did is brilliant. Because I've done it before. So when you said, can we do it this way? I was like, heck yeah, because I've done it before. Not because I was asked to do it, because the people who did it didn't have their stuff together. And I took it upon myself. I said, it might be better if I just kind of lead these people and get them comfortable so they can talk about the things they want to talk about.
How about that?
I don't have to talk about myself so much. I did, and it was called what was it called? It was called Artists on Lockdown. One of the promoters was like, "Can just I want people to interview you, just ordinary people." I was like, "Cool," or just people get you the people together. So the first one was Skate 8. These are skaters, right? Who skate and break dance and stuff like that. And half of them had COVID, and they were supposed to interview me. And I just saw that they wasn't up to the task. I was like, all right, so what the heck do y'all do?
Right.
So one person started talking. I was like, then I'm like, why are you so quiet over there? Like I was just playing with them.
Yeah.
And we just collaborated, and that thing went on for 2 hours, man.
They got comfortable. You made them feel comfortable in their element. It's like I said with the guy, they started realizing, they weren't even realizing that they were kind of talking, you know what I mean, or intimidated by the camera or the celebrity. You just got in their element, which is something
I'm so approachable. And see, that's I think that's a big reason for my success, because I don't act like a star. Because I've been a DJ all my life. I've always been a star. I've always drove the bus. DJs drive the bus.
That's
but
right.
This is one thing DJs do more than anything else. This is what I did. I observed human nature.
Yeah.
You observe human nature in the party, dude. You learn a lot.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about people. You learn a lot about everybody, everything, how people vindictive, how they interact, how music hits them, how music changes them, how music creates the mood, all these things.
Yeah.
Right. And I just feel blessed to just have the life that I've had, because it is really netted me a lot of friends and a lot of people who look up to me. And I just always am trying to give what I want first and give back. I just love to help people. And I just love to do it, man, because it has been the way that I have been able to get everything that I want. And, it's just interesting, man, that I'm talking to you about this, because I'm so interested in, how do you, like, what do you want out of all of this? Like, I always ask people, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
But I ask people that because they all over the place and they don't know what they want to do, but knowing what you do and doing what you've done and been successful and do more things and keep learning, what do you want?
Man, I don't want much, and I want everything at the same time. And
that's
what I mean? and it's like that. I don't want much, but you know what? I feel like I've been given so much, and I'm going to stand on the shoulders of so many, and I've been given talents that I'm obligated to utilize those talents for the benefit of others. I'm obligated to use those talents because people have invested in me. And so that drives me. And so when you find success in something, and I'm like, oh man, I could do this, I do my podcast and my TV channel and nonprofit and, teach this and love sports, love people. It's, there used to be a saying, it's hard being young, gifted, and Black. And it's not hard. And I don't, it's just the fact of you have to know what you want. You need to know what you're good at and then have a purpose, man. I wake up with a purpose. And my purpose, and if I could say what I do want, is really to help people, man. Yeah. That's what satisfies me at the end of the day. And if I get paid by doing that, it's like with teaching. I would do it for free, man. I love it so much. I love the effect and seeing people get it and succeed. I would do it for free if I, want these bills and this, that, or the other. And that's a real thing, man. So I don't want much, but I want everything. I want it all. I have this life.
It's amazing because I press people on that. They'll be like, what you want, DC? And I'll be like, I want it all. Period. I want it all. Because I know that I create so many I plant seeds, man. 28 years ago, I planted a seed called Whoomp There It Is, and now it's a sequoia.
How about
and
that?
I've got tons of seeds like that.
Yeah.
They're all coming back to hit me in the head, and they're all coming back to serve me, and I become masterful at all these things. And I can't help but to want it all because it's there for me.
Yeah.
But I deal with it in a way where I just try to prepare and learn as much as I can, because my creativity and how I hustle creates so many different opportunities. I have to say no more than I would like to.
Yeah.
Because if it's not within my little ball of hustles and mastery, then it's going to take me away. And I'm focused on this big grand thing. Like I tell people, I've honed this thing to where I don't want to be a star. Like I had a meeting with my agents. They're like, DC, what do you want? I was like, I'm good. You guys do a good job for me. They're like, DC, come on now. What kind of roles do you want? You know, because this is when, you know, we're just having a meeting.
Right.
And they got frustrated. Lena got frustrated. It was like, DC, what is on your bucket list? And I was like, that is a different question.
Yeah, that is.
And I said, look, I want to be on The Mandalorian if you're asking. I want to be in Star Wars universe, live action or animation, because if you're a hit, if you get a good character in Star Wars, you last forever.
How about that?
You see what I'm saying? I said, I want small roles in big movies. Give me 5 lines with The Rock. I'll do the rest. Right.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's what's starting to happen. Like I want to talk to you about 5 different things, but I'm under NDAs. That's how my hustle has elevated everything. My people skills. I know everybody in the Martin Agency and Geico now. So now they know that they've picked the right one. You have to, and that's why I tell young people a lot. You have to let people see you hustle. Like I let all these casting directors see me hustle. I know that agents can't stand when people like this is how it is because I'm in Atlanta. So this is what happens. People call the agent and be like, how come I didn't get to audition for Black Panther? And the agents hate that. And I know they hate it because they told me. Right? So just to prove a point, I'll go behind them and be like, hey, first of all, I'd like to just thank y'all for hustling for me. Like, oh, DC, you hustle yourself. No, but I really appreciate y'all. I just have a question. I'm in this class on Monday, this class on Tuesday, 2 classes on Wednesday, this class on Thursday, Friday, do this workshop on Saturday and an intensive on Sunday. Am I missing anything? Is there something that you could recommend? Right. Like, if you don't get off this phone, because but they don't. What I've just done is that I've ran down everything that I'm doing, and I let them see me hustle.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna do anything I want. They're gonna work for me. They're gonna be like, we know he put in the work, so we got to get him stuff.
For sure.
And I get 100 auditions a year, right? And most people can't. Most people they fold on the auditions because it's rejection. And it's like, it's not rejection. Audition is a chance for you to be great.
That's
and
right.
Then greater, and then greater, and then greater. It's a chance to get better. You don't go to the gym, do 1 set of bench press, 10 reps, and now you're buffed. You got to put in reps.
That's right.
Nothing comes like that. You got to put in reps. So if I got to do 1,000 auditions to get to where I want to be, let's go. Give me 50 a day, right? It's the way you think about things. I tell people to switch their thing, because right now I feel that we're living in a bizarro world, right? Everything is backwards, but that's not a bad thing. If you know how to adapt, bizarro world can be positive.
That's right.
Like, I just don't accept these narratives that people throw at me. I don't accept certain racism narratives. I don't, and people get mad at me, but I'm like, what are you going to do? Are you going to fall for it? Or are you going to try to put people on game and help people get out of it?
That's right.
Because it's a mindset. I know that I worked with racists tooth and nail, and I battled them when other men couldn't. And because I battled them, and because I outsmarted them, because I was smart, and because I did all those things that might have got me lynched 100 years ago that I did today, in the end, they respected me because I was a worthy adversary, because we're men, right? And you have to get that respect from people, not by, being bitter or thinking that they owe you something, but letting them see you hustle, letting them see your worth, letting them know that, oh, I ain't just some black dude like all the people that you think is around. You don't walk up on the wrong one.
You got
But
the
I'm not
bone
going
with
to do
the
it through my anger and all my things that I've been fed in my life that would make me act like that. I'm going to do it with what I know works, which is I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to outlearn you, and I'm going to hustle
every time.
And if you, I love it when somebody is on my, not on my level, but I love when somebody is like me. I'm like, whoa, okay, I really got to work now. It's rare.
Yeah.
Because I used to get mad when people didn't go hard like I go hard, but you can't. You gotta be glad. That's a blessing that everybody don't go hard like you, because it ain't for everybody. I come to the realization that I can only control what I do, and I choose to hustle, and which means is a synonym for preparation. Everybody sees hustle as a negative thing, but I don't, because in my context of hustle, I'm in that DJ booth in Magic City.
Yeah.
For a long time. And I've got 20 streams of income coming into me because I hustle. And that is a money pit. So it's supply and demand. What's in demand? What do people need? What do they want? Mixtapes. Hey, what do they want? Why do you think there's a cigarette dude? Why do you think the guy in the bathroom got his cigarettes laid out? He got his mitts laid out. There's a demand for things.
Exactly.
So fill that demand with the supply. And now all those hustles equal one and a big ball of money at the end of the night. I take that approach in life. Everything that I've learned I come from the beginning of hip hop. There was only one question at the beginning of hip hop. Can you rock a party? Can you move a crowd?
Yeah.
That's my life.
Move the crowd.
Different aspects of it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just poignant that me and you are even talking, because we are kind of one and the same, just in different lanes. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
It's just, it's been a pleasure, man, chopping it up with you, dude. I really don't have any more. I really don't have any more questions for you, because I already know what you're gonna say. Right? I know what you're gonna say, and it's just, for me, learning all this new stuff is about legacy now. It's about letting people know what I did on the time I was blessed with on this earth, and then 200-300 years from now, people will still know my name, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be able to pull that off is the greatest gift you can give back to the life that you've been given. And that's just what I work on. And it's fun, man. It's fun. I have a ball waking up every day at 4:00. Like, I gotta get up.
Great. Yeah.
5
it is fun, man.
Take a COVID test. Because I booked this role where I'm a barber that cuts hair with flame. I couldn't find nobody to teach me that. So I said, okay, what can you do to make it fly? Make it look fly. So I got like 6 things. I ordered a whole bunch of things to make it look fly, right? And we'll do them all. And it might be a small part, but that small part I want it to be so memorable that you got to bring me back.
Oh, yeah.
Because I let you see me hustle.
That's the key, man.
All these things that I've learned in my hustle youth serve me so much better now, because they just do. They're seasoned. I don't even have to think about them anymore. Yeah.
Second nature.
It's second nature. And it's like, wow. And this is what I want to leave everybody with. There are no mistakes. There are no missed opportunities. Sometimes in life, we're just not ready, right?
Yeah.
And, I made a record with Disney in 95 and taught the voices of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, their husband and wife team, taught them how to rap. And they were telling me about voiceover. And I beat myself up for years because I was there, but my mind wasn't.
Yeah.
I was off in the Whoomp There It Is land, right?
Right.
the next year I'm sitting in the office of the president of New Line Cinema. He's like, got this movie, LL Cool J and Wesley Snipes are the lead. They're battling for the lead, but I kind of might want you in there. It's a vampire movie called Blade. I beat myself up for years because I was there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. That was
Fast
preparation, though.
Yep. Fast forward now. I got a Geico commercial that will be remembered for a long time. I got 4 movies coming out, 2 TV shows, just got booked for 2 more. And I do tons of voiceover. Go figure. Yeah. Sometimes in life, we're just not ready, but you got to go back to it. And what the pandemic taught me is that I vowed that I will not leave this earth regretting something I wanted to do that I didn't do.
Yeah.
It's never too late. There's nothing you can't do. And you just have to know what you want. And then when you know what you want, then put the work in. You know what I mean? And the work is just about finding the information that can get you to the promised land faster.
And if it's what you want to do, what you want to do, it's never work because you want it, you know.
It's never work. It's actually an elixir, right? Because now you looking under rocks, you selling TVs, you try to get that information. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You feel the analogy. It's like that. That's how it is for me. I'm trying to I know that I missed out. I didn't miss out, but my mind wasn't there at the beginning of Bitcoin. And I was like, who can teach me this quickly? Right? Who can guide me in the right direction? Who makes the most sense? Who can I call? What can I do? And I've been doing this at a feverish pace for the last couple weeks.
Right.
And I kind of know it now. But then upon that being said, I stumbled upon another financial opportunity to invest in a different way that I can do as well. I call them little buckets. You fill up these little buckets, but they're all different. Yeah. But you just fill them up little bit. And over time, they all serve you. So I'm not about to dump everything in crypto. I just want to know what it is so I can put that hustle in and figure out something new, a different approach. Right.
There you go.
And that's what's fun because it's like, I know I'm going to do it because that's what I want. Right. Yeah. I want that. I want that bad because there's only 1% of the world, less than 1% of the world deals in cryptocurrency. And you listen to how everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
We're at the beginning stages of it.
Yeah.
So it would behoove me to learn as much as I can about it, just to know about it. I don't have to pull the trigger, but at least know about it.
Preparation.
So, it's preparation. So it's like these opportunities, because I have ideas from music. Like I went back to music. I've got tutors for music.
How about that?
And they teach me, all my tutors teach me according to my daily workflow. Like yesterday, I got this German guy, Gregor. He's one of the engineers on Studio One DAW that I use. I like Studio One. I could use Pro Tools or any of the other ones, but I like this one. For some reason, I just like it. So I went to the horse's mouth. I was like, hey, man, I need help. How much you charge? He said, man, it's a pleasure. Woo-tee, woo, woo. I've been training. And yesterday, we kind of didn't have nothing to do. And we re-engineered my microphone because I was like, this ain't really sounding the way I want to. How do I use this piece over here, man? How can we get this better? Man, we tweaked and put this stuff together. And that's part of my workflow because I do auditions every day. So to have my mic sounding in tip-top condition and understand why, that helped me learn the DAW better because that gets me back to music quicker because it's all part of my workflow because these are my talents. These are my skills that I've always had, but now the perfection and the mastery is here because I understand the vessel that I'm putting them through, right?
Yes.
So I'm trying to be This Week on NBC. I'm that dude.
Yeah.
I'm animation. I'm all of it, right? But voiceover is just about meeting the right people, getting into the right thing. It's more about, creating the opportunities. I don't mind auditioning. but I'm not gonna just be an auditioner. I'm gonna go hustle. Just like I did with acting. My first movie was with my acting coach in LA during the pandemic because they wanted her to cast it.
How about that?
Second movie was with a producer friend of mine I know for years. She was like, I need you. You're Deputy Thompson. Like, I'll be there. Boom. And then I just been booked the Tyler Perry thing, and then here come Geico. And Geico, I was, hey. I can't. All I can do is shake my head, right? But then
Geico beat me to the punch, man. I needed to book you for On Watch TV, man. I needed to book you for my for my production, man.
No, man, what I'm saying, man, I could, hey, whatever you want to do, I'll do that too. It's all good. I do it all, man. So it ain't, I gotta break out now though, because I gotta get up at 5 a.m, man. I need my.
And hey, I got another appointment after this one too, man. I want to let my listeners around the world, man. I just want to let them know again. I'm gonna give a proper introduction after we edit this out, man. But my guest today has been DC Glenn of the fabulous duo tag team, the Brain Supreme. You're listening to Watch. I'm sorry, man. You're listening to Let's Chew the Gum, the podcast where we talk about everything. This will be on Watch TV, man. So we got listeners around the world, man, in about 45 countries. I want to give them a shout out, and hopefully, I know that you gave them a lot to think about. You gave them some gems. You gave gratuitously. You gave freely of your time, man, and that's rare among individuals in the first place. But for you to take the time to speak to my audience and to give so much is truly appreciative.
And I just want to thank you for letting me come on here and run my mouth.
I
learn more from running my mouth than anything because
it's a great
stuff out. I figured out a lot of things tonight. Like I figured out more hustles and all kind of stuff just because, I love doing these because they hold me accountable. I can't sit here and be just jibber jabbing all this stuff if I don't. And I asked my voiceover coach, I was like, why are people kind of riveted by when I talk? And he's like, because you ain't telling people about something from no book.
Yeah.
They watching you do it real time. He said, every time you tell me something, 2 months later, it's done.
Yeah.
Like you foresee things, but then you work hard to make them happen. And I was like, and he said, that's the stuff that people want. How do I get in that mindset? I hate saying mindset, but how do I get, it is a mindset because I don't think any other way. And you just have to break it down, right? You have to break it down. You have to understand it. And the most important, you got to know what you want. What's the solution? And make it fantastical. Make it far-fetched. Make it just like where everybody be like, man, you need to sit your butt down. You crazy. That's how I got to be. Because if you see that, then you just work your way back to practicality. Those are the steps. You work your way backward from your dream, right? Not, okay, how do I do this to get to my dream? No, you got to see your dream and then work your way back. Don't work now. Don't work. Well, if I did this, well, hey, if I did this, we did that. Well, wait, I'm doing this now. I'm halfway there.
Backwards design.
Right here is practicality.
Yeah.
The
dream was so extraordinary that what's practicality is also extraordinary. The dream is out there.
Yeah.
But that practicality now is still outstanding. It's still above the normal, right?
Above the normal, but you had to come back as opposed to try to go up to see it. And now that you come back, you have a step ladder to your goals.
There you go.
You want to create a reverse business plan. I do that every single day. That's how I knock these things out. I say, okay, this is the goal. This is where I want to be. Come back. Okay. And it's hard. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say. To everybody out there, it does not ever get easier, but it does get better.
That's right.
That's all you can hope for. So, hey, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. Salute.
I love that. Hey, one more time, thank you again to my guest, Mr. DC Glenn. It's been fantastic. This is Let's Chew the Gum, the podcast where we talk about everything while we chew the gum. He gave us all a lot of gum to chew on, man. So I'm appreciative. Even more so, we're 3 hours away in time zone, man. It's already late here in Cali. You're in Atlanta. You got things to do, man. So thank you for coming on. I got to get you back at some point, man, because
Oh, yeah. Just hit me up.
There's a lot more, man, that we can give to people.
Scratch the surface, and by next time we talk, I'll have so much more to talk about. So this is a daily thing for me, man. We good. All right.
I appreciate you, brother.
I hope you all appreciated that unedited and extended conversation I had with my man DC Glenn, having him on the show and then interviewing me, and then really allowing him to just do his thing, man, what he does best, the verbiage and the vocalization, dropping gems for all of you around the world. You guys are so much appreciated. Be sure to tune into the next episode of Let's Chew the Gum. I'll have another special guest. Remember, we always have
Something for your mind. Something for your mind. Something for your mind.
무엇인가 정신을 집어넣으세요. 마음에 어떤 것 필요합니까?
Something for your
정신을 집어넣으세요.